Greetings, Legionnaires, and welcome to the Wrestling Legion Weekly Podcast. I am Nick the Geek, and I'm joined today by two fantastic friends, two brilliant minds, two marvellous men. I'm joined by our man back from location. He's finally returned from his secret mission. We are joined by Sai. Sai, how the hell are you doing?
It's good to be home, mate. I'm sure you can see me and hear me a little bit better this week. So, back to usual. Big announcement coming up later. But
yes, there is.
Let's not go to that just yet.
Okay. And we are joined, of course, by the Redeemer himself. We're joined by Andy. Andy, how the hell are you doing?
All good, mate. All good. Good to have the circle complete again. So
it is indeed. The pyramid is back to its full strength. Right. Get straight into it, you guys. Last night was SummerSlam.
Afternoon, David.
Personally for me, hello, David. Personally for me, it was a good show. It didn't deliver, I think, on the level of SummerSlam could deliver, but there was nothing particularly bad on the show side. What was your overall view of it, and do you think they could have done better?
So, let's not mention the fact that you guys were around at mine and I fell asleep halfway through the show. It wasn't a reflection on the show because the show was good, but I think, like you say, a lot of PLEs this year, it's like there was good bits, there was all right bits. There was nothing mind-blowing, and there was nothing terrible. Yeah. Run-of-the-mill, it's like it's a standard that they've kind of got to, and there's no real improvement, but there's no worsening. So it was Yeah. I really enjoyed. I watched the last 4 matches this morning. Really enjoyed Drew and Gunther. I think they did a hell of a lot in that match. The main event was great, but again, slow paced, but we're getting used to that with Roman and his matches. It was good. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. Enjoyed the show, but it's not the show that I'm always going to remember, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And Andy, for me, Cody Brock was probably the best match of the night for obvious reasons. I'm a mark. But we'll get to the main event on our next topic. But we'll start at the beginning of the card with you, Andy. What did you think of Logan Ricochet? Do you think it did what it intended to do? Or do you think they left a little bit in the tank knowing the story's going to continue?
They left some in the tank. I think probably some of the matches on this card, it was kind of, with WWE at the moment, just as overall for the pay-per-view, first of all, I think it was more of a B pay-per-view than it was one of the big four. I think that's how it come across to me. I think there's, Money in the Bank I thought was much better. I also thought that the Puerto Rico one was better as well. So yeah, for me, it did come across more like a B pay-per-view than a big four. But it was a tale of two halves for this in terms of matches. And I think, wherever you were up to in your feud was how that match went. And it seems to be a running theme in WWE at the moment. So, for your first match, just to go to that, Logan, and I did think they kept that 20% back for that reason, because they're only just into that feud and we're going to go again. I think the exact same for Drew and Gunther. I think Drew and Gunther was exactly the same. They were just holding back that 10-20%. But then, if you look at Finn and Seth, they went all out. But if you look at their match on the previous pay-per-view, they holded that 20% back there. So it just shows you it. And then obviously Cody and Brock went all out as well. But if you look at their last match, they went 20% less. So it seems to be a common theme with WWE at the moment, where if you get in the first match, you're not going to get the banger or the full potential of it, because they're going to hold something back to then push it into the next pay-per-view.
Yeah, I understand that perfectly. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense, especially considering Triple H has a very specific way of telling stories now. And I think that fits his modicum. So it's a good point. Right, moving on, Si, to a match that I know you want to talk about because it contains your favorite female wrestler. We're going to talk about the MMA rules match between Ronda and Shayna. Now,
whoa.
Hang on, we're going to get... No. Sorry, the first black woman to ever wrestle main event WrestleMania, Ronda Rousey.
Thank you, Nick.
I apologize. All right. I really enjoyed this match for what it was. I think the boring chants some of the crowd started to get going was unwarranted. I think they delivered. Andy, you were talking about this last night. You said they went through a lot of what? How did you describe it in MMA terms?
Drills. They were
Drills,
drilling a lot, so they were doing a lot of transitions and a lot of drills.
Thank you. Yeah, but I thought they did this
I
very
know
well.
that the average fan doesn't, Nick.
This is a good point. This is what I was going to say. I enjoyed it for what it was because I had you sat next to me explaining this. So, do you think this was a risk that they didn't need to take, or do you think that this did its job and got Shayna into the position she needs to be in?
All right. Firstly, okay, I'll admit it. I'm a Ronda mark. I'm a Ronda stan. I think she's amazing. A little bit of a crush on her. Watched her all through the UFC. Watched every film she's been in, no matter how bad they've been. So I'm slightly biased. All right. My take on the match. The opening 2 or 3 minutes with all the exchanges, which, like Andy says, is like, from his experience, they're going through drills. I get that. I do get that. However, for me, we got to see some legitimate, supposedly legitimate MMA action. And the exchanges they had in that first 2 or 3 minutes were not the same level, but reminiscent of Angle and Benoit at Mania years ago. It's like they were really going at it, you know, Brett and Owen, that kind of like legitimacy. And seeing that was great. I don't get why people hate Ronda so much. Never have, never will. Like I say, I'm biased. The crowd chants. I hate any crowd that shits on performers that are doing their best to entertain people. It's a pet hate of mine. Same as Goldberg and Brock at Mania 20. It's like, the crowd ruined that match for me. You know, you watch it back without the sound, it's not half as bad. So, ignoring the crowd side of it, I think they did what they needed to do. Good on Ronda for the second SummerSlam in a row putting somebody over. Because last year it was Liv. Yeah. She literally gave Shayna everything, made her look like $1 million, and put her over on her way out. And anyone that's going to criticize her for that can suck my balls, because you can't criticize her for that.
No, I completely agree.
No.
Okay, Andy,
with Ronda is she's just not relatable, is she? And unfortunately to a lot of people, she's not this big smiley, hi, you know. I like Ronda and I think Ronda's great, but Ronda's a badass, and unfortunately for some reason it doesn't translate well in women's wrestling. For some reason, I don't understand why. Because Brock Lesnar and Ronda Rousey, if you watch the two of them, they are pretty one and the same in the way that they act, the way they carry themselves and everything else. But for some reason, Brock gets well over with it and Ronda doesn't.
2 words, Paul Heyman.
I so wanted her to be the Paul Heyman girl. But like Ronda said herself so many times, right, the 2 quotes that spring to mind are, she is not the female Brock Lesnar. They came from the same place, but they're not the same kind of people, right? And her uterus is nobody else's business, right? But yeah. Let's think about this for a second, Andy. You're saying that she's not connected and all that, but do you not remember when she first came in at WrestleMania and did the match with Triple H and Stephanie, right? And I forget, was it Kurt Angle was in there as well?
Yeah, it was.
And straight off the bat, everybody loved her. They thought she was amazing. And at some point,
Kurt Angle.
And The Rock.
That's not why. She was a big name. People were pleased to see her. It was a big thing. And at some point,
I think a lot of it was a comment made.
The internet is
wasn't it?
I was going to say, unfortunately, you can pinpoint when it turned. She opened her mouth, Si.
It wasn't that, mate. It's the same people that are always jumping on Ronda that always jump on Jericho. And what it is it's a political thing. And I'm not going to touch on that.
Yeah.
But to me, whether someone is left wing or right wing, it's not a reason to like or dislike a character. You've got to separate the two.
No.
You know? And I think that's part of the reason that people started hating on her. And yeah, she's only got 2 facial expressions. She's not the best actress in the world. You know, you've got Happy Ronda and then you've got like sulking little girl Ronda.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed the match for what it was. I think it was the best women's match of the night.
Okay.
I like Ronda, mate. I've got a lot of time for it, but it's just unfortunate, isn't it, that she just doesn't get the respect that she deserves.
No. It is. She's underrated. And I think a lot of this past year, when people have been saying she's like phoning it in and stuff, I think maybe that's because she realizes she's so disliked. She doesn't get why, and she's got a chip on her shoulder about it.
Entirely possible. But moving on, because that's enough about Ronda versus Shayna. To the match that took place before Ronda versus Shayna. My favorite match of the night: Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar. This was an absolute banger. This was a Cody match, if I have ever seen a Cody match before, of just him going to John Cena levels of facing adversity to overcome and get in the ring. And it turns out that Brock shaking his hand and celebrating with him after the bell was not planned. That was just Brock being Brock. And I thoroughly appreciate Brock Lesnar for doing this, putting somebody like Cody over in that way. My question for you, Andy, because you've asked me this question and I'm having difficulty seeing it now. Without assuming we do not get an explanation as to why Brock has been doing this to Cody now, where does Cody go from here?
This is the problem, mate, and this is the whole thing. What I'm saying is they've tried this adversity route with him, so they threw him at Brock Lesnar to give him that credibility. Brock's given him the rub on the way out. Obviously, Brock's going to take his biannually leave now, or annual leave, and it's kind of, it's one of the stories I'm very intrigued by. It's frustrating for me because you've got LA Knight there who's over as Rover.
Yeah.
And you could throw him against Roman Reigns and people wouldn't question it whatsoever. But no. I'm interested and very intrigued in if they are going down the Cody Roman route again, which I don't know if they are based on what they're doing at the moment. But if they are doing that, how do we get there? And to be fair, I don't know. And it's not very often I don't know round about what they're going to do. So
yeah, this is the problem I'm having.
Interesting.
It's thoroughly intriguing. The more I see Cody, the more I hear he talk, the less interested I get. I have less interest in having Cody, which is a shame because I loved him everywhere except for two places, AEW and WWE. That's a fair point, David. But the masses would disagree with you. Because if you hear the entrances he gets, you hear the pops Cody receives, he is over like Rover. It's just
but
like
he
Andy
is over
says,
like that, but he doesn't get LA Knight pops though. I was there for SmackDown and Money in the Bank, mate, and he didn't get a pop near it. You know, he didn't. I'm talking sitting there live, mate. He did not get them pops.
I know. Well, this is the thing.
And that's not me trying to have a go over him. I think he did get a pop. He got a massive pop. It just wasn't LA Knight type pop.
No, it wasn't. But unfortunately, we'll get to LA Knight now because LA Knight won the Slim Jim Battle Royale, which was a very good decision, I believe, from a marketing standpoint alone.
It's a good job because it already pre-recorded the commercial. So it's a good job he won.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. I always love the way they whack the commercial on immediately following the match because wrestling's real. No, but LA Knight won the Slim Jim Battle Royal. Andy, do you think this is the start of the push, or do you think this was just because of the Slim Jim deal?
No, well, I don't think it was just because of the Slim Jim deal, because if he wasn't over the way he is, would he have even got the Slim Jim deal?
That's a good point.
You know,
it's a very good point.
Yeah, I believe it probably is the start of his push, but I believe we'll probably have some twists and turns on the way there. I still think, in my own head, someone like LA Knight has got to win at WrestleMania for that push to come to an end. Well, not to come to an end, but to really get him over. I think we're in Austin territory with LA Knight, where don't rush it, don't do nothing stupid, and just keep building it week by week now, and just keep having him appear, having him doing things, get him in a few little, feuds and stuff like that, and just keep him going.
Let's not forget that from when Steve Austin first got super over and won King of the Ring to when he won the world title, 22 months.
Yeah.
Which I've said a very long time for now. They can't take that much time with LA Knight. Austin was 36. They had time.
It's not. Do you know what, though? One thing I disagree with you there, mate. Age is irrelevant. It's the audience's attention spans now. You can't take that much time with them because the crowd they'll lose interest and you'll move on. And that's what I think
Yeah.
nowadays is. Don't be wrong, I think his age is probably there and whatever else, but I think for nowadays is like, do you see anybody kicking off over Sami Zayn now? They're all over it. Everyone's moved on.
No.
Yeah.
Which we all said that was going to happen anyway. Right, Si. So I'm going to bring up a little bit of an idea that was floating around in my head about LA Knight and Cody.
Okay.
Could we see come Royal Rumble time a Lex Luger Bret Hart situation?
I mean, I think it's been done to death, hasn't it? Last time it was Cena and Batista, and Vince tore both his quads. I don't.
Yeah, he did.
I don't think we need to see that kind of stuff again. I mean, I think Cody's road to the world title is wide open because he's in a feud with Judgment Day. He's literally wrestled them all except for Priest now, I think. And if Priest cashes in, doesn't have to be Roman, could be Seth. If Priest cashes in, Cody's already got a storyline to challenge him. And I think maybe that could be what we see rather than him going after Roman. You know, winning a world title is finishing that story, not beating Roman Reigns.
Yeah, but technically it's winning the WWE title is finishing that story.
Technically, schematically, it's
not a belt that just got created 6 weeks ago.
Was it not the big gold that his dad was after all the time as well?
It was the Winged Eagle that he never got.
Yeah, it was the Winged Eagle that he never got.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is the Winged Eagle isn't there no more, so
no.
Whichever one you go for, it could see.
I know. It could be. I'd
rather
it wasn't.
I think whatever routes we get down, I believe the two routes that we're going to have to WrestleMania is the LA Knight route and the Cody Rhodes route. I feel like they're the two routes that we're going to have. How they both get there is another, and which road they take is another one. But I don't think them two cross paths. I think they move away down the two routes. I still believe Gunther will be against Cody.
I would love that, but I still believe we're going to get Roman Cody 2 at Mania 40 when we go.
Or if they do, then you can put LA Knight down the other route, can't you? Because don't forget as well, there's a key thing here that WWE will use because they do. Cody has not appeared on SmackDown whatsoever since the draft split. LA Knight has not appeared anywhere else but SmackDown. Now, if they need to swap that could be something that you need to keep in mind, is that both of them two don't appear on each other's shows. Could there be a swap there? Could there something happen there to get them where they both need to be?
There could be a talent exchange, a superstar shake-up, whatever they want to call it. Not bad. But moving on from the Slim Jim Battle Royal. By the way, just for me, I thought it was great to see Omos back. I don't think he's booked.
Here we go.
Thanks,
Sorry
mate.
about that, guys.
So I mean, no one wanted to see Omos back.
Excuse me.
No.
Complete and utter bollocks then. No one wanted to see Omos back. There was no need for those comments. We'll just forget you said it and move on.
Right, moving on to the next match.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, moving on to the next match. The triple threat for the WWE Women's Championship between Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, and Asuka.
Whoa. You've missed one.
Have I? Oh, wait. Drew and Gunther. All right, on to Drew McIntyre versus the Ring.
I'm only joking.
Listen, you. I have this power as well. I have this power as well. Moving on to Drew and Gunther. Now, lads, I have not had time to watch this match because I haven't had time today and we missed it last night. So I am going to leave this entirely in your hands. Andy, what do you think?
Right. So, first of all, they did leave that 20% out because I think we see this match again next time. Probably a payback again. But just because they left that 20% out didn't mean it wasn't a good match because it was a great match. They just kicked the dick out of each other. The only thing that I would say is, I mean, they were stiff as a dick. Is probably the best way to describe it. They battered each other. Was it as good as Sheamus versus Gunther Clash at the Castle? No. But could it be with them going that full hog? Yes. So
nice.
I'm going to reserve me thing for that. WWE's done a great job last night of putting over Gunther with the title reign as well. the way that he won as well again was kind of splash into that power bomb done. And it was just very, very slick and bum, bum, bum. And I just like this. No, has anyone noticed? So Honky Tonk Man, right? He was the original heel back in the day. Cheated a lot to win. He had this, that, and the other. You know, Gunther is the anti-Honky Tonk. He's the anti-heel in my eyes because he's a heel, but he's got his guys who don't get involved in his matches. He wins clean every time. No nonsense. Bang. And it's just like, he's a heel, but he's such an anti-heel because he never does anything that a heel does.
Can I touch on this? Right.
Yeah, go for it, son.
It's almost like a trope, isn't it? That you have to be a cowardly heel if you've got a belt. So we've seen it so many times. So when you get to the point you've got a guy like Gunther who isn't like that, it's so refreshing to see. I've seen Gunther live against Dragunov, against Tyler Bate. The match against Sheamus, like you say, was better. He is capable of more, right? I think the match they had, and I'm not knocking Drew because I love Drew to bits, but the match that they had was a Drew match. The pacing of it, the claymores, going back to the 3-2-1. It's like the amount of times he was 3-2-1 and then he missed the move or Gunther avoided the move. Yeah. If he hadn't done the stupid counting bollocks, he could have hit the move. It was a Drew match, right? I think Drew was calling it. I'd say it was maybe 4 1/4. Really enjoyed it, but it could have been a little bit better. And we've seen that before. But I like the fact that during the match, I forget if it was Michael or Corey, but one of them rolled up the comparisons to Brock Lesnar and threw it out the window and explained the difference, right? And what I got more from the match, did you see his new ring gear?
Gunther's. It was very Bryan Danielson.
No. Well, yes. But why was Bryan Danielson's that colour? That was Regal Crimson.
Yeah.
Right? Gunther, to me, the fact that Michael Cole explained, and he's bang on for once, that literally he doesn't waste any motion. Everything he does has purpose, right? Yeah. And he's Regal-esque in that sense. And I think that colour was a shout out to William Regal. Straight up.
Nice.
Yeah.
And
but
he's
also,
by my calculations.
Purpose, mate, and he has these two guys. I wasn't waving like that. He has these two guys behind him that he could use at any point, and he never does.
Yeah.
Never does.
And yeah.
I've said a dozen times already, Gunther's the perfect wrestler. Like, he is Andre the Giant when Andre the Giant could move. He's got that kind of presence and awe about him. Everything has purpose. Every motion has deliberate intent. It's just... If
even
anybody...
Like when he's walking down to the ring and they walk down with him and then halfway down he just goes like that and they take his jacket and then they go and he can't... You know, it's every little detail with him.
He's legit. He's legit. I believe it's 34 days now until he beats Honky's record. I believe he's going to. But I also believe he's going to drop the belt soon after that. And it ain't going to be LA Knight because that's the wrong call to make. I think Chad Gable is the guy. I think we got a taster to it last week. And I think there's time you can have Gunther against Otis. You can have a tag match. You can have another match where Gable wins again via countout, something like that. And then eventually, when you get to past September the 9th, Gable's going to take that belt.
No, I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. They've really been.
I mean, I think Gunther goes straight for world level. Whether he's got it, if he loses
as soon as he drops it, I
believe he'll.
That's why he needs to drop it.
And I believe he loses it in a triple threat. I don't believe he takes a pin.
Ooh.
I like that. I like that to keep him solid.
Yep.
All right, but moving on, boys, from Gunther versus Drew to the women's triple threat: Charlotte versus Bianca versus Asuka. Now, for me, this was even though this match was built around Super Bianca, it was a very Charlotte Flair match. This felt like Charlotte was running the match. You heard her calling spots. It was a little bit scrappy at times. There was a couple of missteps, but Andy and I were completely sold by Bianca's selling when she came off that top rope over that knee. Yeah. I honestly thought she was hurt. And the fact that she got both of us and then came back and did what she did was tremendous. And of course, it ended the way I wanted it to, with Io Sky cashing in and becoming the WWE Women's Champion, which I thought was a fantastic choice.
Yep.
Yeah, Oscar's a wank champion, isn't she? She always had great wrestler, great in ring, and all the rest of it. But she's a
Deep
wank
cuts
champion.
by
She's
Andy.
never been a good champion. Yeah,
Oscar's a
she's
wank champion.
No, she's not.
Someone meme
she's
that.
a wank champion, mate.
Right.
The match itself,
liked...
though, I'm probably gonna be controversial here. I didn't like it. I thought the way it was set up and stuff, I like the outcome on it with Io winning. And I like the way they done the whole injured person with Bianca. It was great. But the actual match, I thought it was clunky. I didn't think that, Bianca selling was great, but the actual interaction between the three women, I thought was very clunky and very, like, they just kind of, like, they weren't smooth together.
I like the fact we got a finish we hadn't seen before. The spray to the face while Charlotte was upside down.
Mm-hmm.
They're jumping on for the pin. Right? It's the only match, and Nicole attests to this, that we called wrong all night.
Yes.
Because I thought Oscar was going to win and you went for Charlotte.
Yeah.
It's the only match that we didn't get right. So it was good having a surprise, giving Bianca the belt. And I popped when Io Sky came out. She deserves that belt. She's won it on the big stage. It's a change of direction, and I'm embracing that. I like the finish. Match itself not great.
Me. Well, yeah. Do you know what? I got a bit teary-eyed when Dakota Kai come out. Like it really, like I was like, I really like.
I was very happy for them. Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
it got me a bit as well.
As Dave says there, the triple threat was oddly pretty sloppy in spots, and poor Oscar won the belt and never had a win in 70 days.
Is that right? Not one win champion.
Nah, she didn't win one match.
Wow.
She's a wank champion, mate.
I think
press conference there, you had Io Sky talking in the press conference, and she was doing pretty well and all like that. Oscar would just sit there and go, "Ready for Oscar," and then piss off. Do you know what I mean? And no one cares. Like, even they tried to do this scary character, and she just looks like a crap joint to crown. No.
Do you know what I didn't like?
It's not scary. It's not.
After the match, she sat in the corner, all crazy-eyed, crazy zombie-faced, whatever, all doing that in character. Right, I didn't like that because this is wrestling, right? And if it wasn't contrived and planned and written and scripted, which we all know it is, but if it wasn't, she wouldn't have reacted like that. She'd have dropped character,
annoyed,
sat in the corner, been pissed off, and I think she should have done. But splitting hairs.
Yeah.
For me,
I just
the biggest
think,
mistake they made.
I just think it's not working with Oscar altogether.
For me, the biggest mistake they made was not putting the belt on Charlotte for 5 minutes, because it gets her up to 15. And we all know they want her to have 16 championships, and it would have been the perfect opportunity to do it without pissing the fan base off, because she lost it 30 seconds later. That's just me. That's just me.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, boys.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Could Bianca winning it and losing it so quickly be the catalyst for her heel turn to join Lashley and the Street Profits?
This is what I am hoping. This is what we are hoping. The new Hurt Business, and then Carmelo Hayes needs to leave NXT and come up and join as well.
Yep. Hurt Business, Street Business, it's all good.
But no, I basically agree with you both about that match. I thought that it was, as I said, it was a very Charlotte match, but it was a very sloppy Charlotte match. They did not deliver to the level I thought they were going to deliver, but like Sai, I really enjoyed the finish. I thought the finish was very clever and it wasn't contrived. But moving on to
I agree with David. The new Oscar was old Oscar with new face paint. To get it, mate. You can't polish your tears, but you can put new face paint on it.
But moving on to the main event and getting to our main talking point for today, lads. As you can see, I am coming to you from the prison of the Bloodline story. Now, I think they've jumped the shark. It's just me. This has gone on for nearly 3 years, nearly 4 years, this storyline. It's been impeccable up to this point. But history teaches us that splitting a tag team up of brothers to have them fight never works. It didn't work with the Hardys. It didn't work with the Rougeaus. Just didn't work with the Steiners. It's not going to work because, unfortunately, Jimmy's nowhere near as good as Jay. It's a sad fact, but it's true. That's why Jay's always the one that gets pushed.
There's one exception with brother tag teams, and that's Brett and Owen.
Correct.
One exception.
And
Never
they
worked
weren't
apart from
really ever a tag team. They just teamed every now and then.
Yeah.
But I thought the match was your atypical Roman Reigns match. It went pretty much how I figured it was going to. Roman got a lot of offense in, especially early on, like a lot of offense. Then there was the classic, all the shenanigans with Solo. Then Jay finally made his big comeback, looked like Superman, hit his finish. Mystery Man turns out to be Jimmy, kicks him in the face, goes on from there. The only interesting part that I can take away from this is it did not look like Jimmy has rejoined the Bloodline. Because he didn't stay and celebrate. He didn't middle about with Roman at the end.
Roman looked surprised as well. He was like,
yes, Roman did look surprised.
Yeah.
So my question for you guys, I'm going to let either one of you take this, is other than the obvious Jimmy versus Jay match that we're going to get, where do they go from here? Paul Heyman said they're only in the bottom of the third and wait till you see what we've got for the fourth. But for me, it's jumped the shark. What do you guys think?
Saying that doesn't mean that we believe him, does it?
No. Like, go on.
I think, and I'm fantasy booking now, all right? So it's probably not going to happen. But what I want to see is for Solo, Jimmy, and Roman to face Jay and two partners. Okay? And I want those partners to be family members, and I want one of them to be Jacob Fatu.
Yes, please. I've been screaming about Jacob coming in for weeks.
It could lead to the fact that some of the tribe are following a different leader who will eventually be unveiled to be The Rock.
Ooh. Now, Andy, you got yourself very excited last night on the on the possibility. Now, we are all hoping to attend again at some point in the future. How if he's still coming, Andy? How did they get there?
He's 100% going to be there, but I believe he comes out and he doesn't even get involved in that storyline. I think we get to November and it hasn't happened. It's not happening because I think by then because if he's going to wrestle, it's the insurance, it's the time, and it's everything else. And also, if he's coming in to wrestle a program with Roman, even if it's one match or whatever it is, there's big financials involved in that. Now, with the big financials with that, WWE will want to get that out there as soon as possible. Now, the only thing for me is with the television rights coming up and everything else, does Rock make his appearance on a episode of SmackDown or Raw rather than on the pay-per-view? If that's going to happen, just a random one, bang, he turns up. You know, the logistics of getting him in and out is a lot easier. You know, there's a lot less issues with security, etc. So you could do it there. I believe The Rock will be at 40 no matter what. 100% believe he will be there because doing a segment, they only need to get him there. Do you know what I mean? And I believe at 40 he will be there. Same as Austin, I think he'll be there. Same as Hogan, I think he'll be there. I think they'll pull out all the stops as they do on that. And let's not forget he's Nick Khan's mate. Now, to introduce it, if his schedule is all over the place, to fly him in and out for one day is fine. That way you keep him away from the bloodline. You have him come out, do something similar to what they've done at 30.
No, he just sets fire to his name.
Austin. Yeah, no, the one with Austin and Rock and Hogan and stuff.
Oh, the one with HBK and
all the fans and Cuff.
Yeah.
And I believe he will be. I believe The Rock loves wrestling, as we all know, and he will be at 40 because it's 40. Whatever his participation is, he will be there. But I think if we do get past November and we haven't seen The Rock, we won't see him because I think at that point it's not enough time for WWE to get the value in terms of, because don't forget they don't just look at attendances, they look at social media posts, they look at media reach in the mainstream media.
Yeah, there's so many metrics.
Stuff, and getting the Rock in there earlier will enhance them metrics for a longer period of time. So as I say, we're running out of time of when to get him in. Now, don't get me wrong, if it's because it's a bit of back and forwards of can he make it, can he not make it, I'm sure WWE would take him at any point. But would they put him into a Bloodline storyline at that point, or would they? It just depends on how far you'd let that go before you make the call.
So, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. It needs to be advertised. It doesn't need to be a surprise because they don't benefit as much from that. And let me preface this by saying, right, what we all know is I have spent 3 WrestleManias in a row getting my hopes up to see The Rock just to be disappointed. So I've said this year, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to get sucked in to all the BS on the internet. I'm not going to believe the rumors. I'm not going to believe the hype. I'm not going to believe any of that. I'm just going to follow it. And if he turns up, great, added bonus. However, the door is there and it would be fantastic. And you've got to think, overthinking this, right? You've got to think, Jimmy wasn't aligned with Roman and Paul and Solo. What if we get a reconnection of the brothers? There's a heart-to-heart. There's a lot of things said. Jimmy still in the middle. What if we get a rematch and it ends up being a double turn again? And Jimmy ends up helping Jay win the belt from Roman.
Well, Payback is next around the corner, and Payback's where Roman first won the title.
Mm.
So
yeah, it's not going to happen.
possible.
Payback will be Roman versus
Yeah.
will be Jay and Jimmy. That'll 100% be that match at that one. Whether we get to Survivor Series and something happens there, but I just keep going off my own logic, and my own logic is it's WrestleMania 40. Every time we have a 10, big stuff happens, and as I say, for me, you know, I'm at the point now where we're all getting older. The Rock's getting a lot older, and it's kind of, I wouldn't mind just being in the stadium and just seeing his entrance and hearing his music. Mate. That's where I'm at the moment.
That's
and
enough.
I believe we are. I really believe we are going to get that at Philly. So that for me is, you know, and if I got him, Hogan, and Austin in one night, I'm a happy man. That'll be me done.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Right, but back to the
Russell.
question I have.
Hey, Russ.
Hello, Russ. Long time no see. Good to see you. The next time Roman defends the belt, that will be the Saudi show at the earliest, and even that's a pretty low percent. Yeah, more than likely, David. Right, but back to the question at hand, boys. For me, I think they've jumped the shark. Like, I don't think this was a good move unless they've really got something clever planned. Like,
you live in danger when you've got something that's so red hot in that you don't want it to end, and there's a danger of dragging it out slightly. And this reminds me a lot of the NWO and its reinventions. It's like we got the black and red, you know, and the white and black, and then the white and black kept going. It was like flogging that dead horse, get every cent out of it that you can, until eventually we got the black and silver, and it just went on and on and on and on. And you've got to know when to stop it. There's that fine line, that kind of equilibrium, if you will, right? Where you're maximizing your profit and your potential, but you're not overdoing it. And they're at that point.
They are in danger of oversaturating.
Yeah.
At this point, they really are. But that is enough about WWE for one day, lads. We're moving on to the other side of the fence, over to AEW. In 25 days, I believe. 26? 25 days?
21.
21 days.
3 weeks today.
Getting closer than I thought.
Oh, it is.
3 weeks today.
Yeah, it is. Bloody hell.
3 weeks today. We will all be going to Wembley Stadium to watch AEW All In. Now, Si, I know you're finally happy because it's a pay-per-view.
No. Don't do no.
They have announced it.
No, don't get me all excited. Don't do it. Don't tease me, man. Right? I've spent months procrastinating, masticating about this. Don't do it. Don't sell me false hopes. All right.
I'm not selling you false hopes. The posters say it's on pay-per-view. It is being broadcast in cinemas in the US. It is going to be a pay-per-view. Now,
like The Rock coming back, I will believe it when I see it.
Okay. Right. Well, either way, carrying on with All In. We have our main event, lads. We have Adam Cole versus MJF. I'm over the moon about this. I think it's a fantastic match. I think it's been a phenomenal storyline. It's been the best thing AEW done in months. And I'm really glad to see those two get in the main event. But Now, I know there's one person that Simon really doesn't want to see it All In. And
don't say it. Don't say it.
I'm not going to. Calm down.
Calm
down. Calm down.
Don't say it. Do not say
a
it.
word.
We've all got people we hate, and I'm not talking about the wrestlers that you don't get, Nick.
I know.
So, show me the same respect.
I'm not doing
this person. This person is the British version of Toru Yano, and I can't stand watching them. They're everything wrong about wrestling. They're great on a Saturday afternoon in front of 40 people if you've got children around the front row. This isn't that show. This person should not be at this show.
Prize in the comments if you can tell me who he's talking about.
I don't even want to see the name. Don't do it.
I'm not going to mention it. Right? But what I am going to ask you both,
when you,
I'm going to
Simon,
ask you first,
Simon, when you call my name, it's like a little prayer, mate.
Don't do it, Andy. Getting so angry.
Simon,
you don't want to see me hulk up.
What matches are you hoping for now? They still haven't announced anything else other than the main event. What are you hoping for? And we're not going to get Pac because Pac's injured.
We've still got 3 weeks. As much as I'm against non-contracted wrestlers appearing at All In, because you've got Forbidden Door for that kind of gimmick, there's one person I want to see. And we talked about this last night. For me, it isn't the person whose name I'm not going to mention because he makes me angry. It's not even Will Ospreay. The person that needs to be at Wembley Stadium is Harry Smith Jr. Okay? Whether he's waving a flag for Ospreay, whether he's having a match, his dad made his career in that stadium. It's the biggest event in that stadium since SummerSlam 92. Harry Smith needs to be there. Bulldog Jr.
He does. He does. Andy, for me, the most amazing part about going to this show is it is the single largest wrestling crowd since Collision in Korea.
Not yet, it isn't. It will be.
Well, it will be.
Yeah.
It will be. But it's going to be the largest crowd since Collision in Korea. It's not going to be Collision in Korea, but nothing ever will be because political reasons. However, I'm getting proper excited for this now because of knowing that we're going to be in that crowd. Being in that crowd, whose entrance do you want to hear? Whose music do you want to hear the most? Just on the night.
Simon knows.
I think, is it not the same answer for all of us? Okay, so I've been privileged enough to see the original ECW live, to see WWE loads of times, TNA, Ring of Honor. I've never been to an AEW show, but I had never been to a WCW show. There is one guy that I've missed time and time again throughout my 40 years as a fan, over 50 live shows I've been to. It's Sting! I'm more excited about seeing Sting live than anything else.
I couldn't agree more. Everybody knows Sting's the reason I'm a fan. He's the first wrestler I fell for as a kid. I have adored Sting since I was 6 years old. And the fact that he is the only man from that generation who is still crazy enough to be getting in that ring and jumping off Titantrons and doing all sorts of everything else, coming off ladders and going through tables.
We were killing time before SummerSlam last night, and I put on a random match, and it was Sting and Lex Luger against the Road Warriors from 96, 97?
96.
And then it occurred to me, I said to you all, didn't I? I was watching it. I was like, wow, 2 of these guys are dead. One of them's in a wheelchair, and Sting is still wrestling.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
He's just that damn good and always has been that damn good. I am going to explode. Your young man is coming with us to All In, Andy. And if Sting comes out, I will be more of a child than young Ashton. Right. Yeah. I will react like more of a kid.
Sting.
Oh, well, it will be a competition for who's the most nerdy with your kid.
Yeah. It may be, after 40 years of being a fan,
if you want my honest,
it's like...
Go on.
I was going to say, I've been jaded. I've seen it all in wrestling. It may be the last time, the fanboy in me actually comes out. It's going to be amazing.
Go on, Andy.
That's
You were
all
going to
I
say?
want. But anyway, no, CM Punk would be a good one.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen CM
Actually,
Punk live, so.
no, I don't think any of us have. Did you ever? Oh, you did.
I saw him in TNA when he debuted with Alexis Lurie with him, who went on to be Mickey James. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You've never seen his living color entrance, though, have you? The cult of personality entrance.
No, I haven't.
No.
Yeah.
Well, rumor has that he might be bringing back another tune for his entrance.
I'll be fucking
which
fuming
is
if
the
he does,
fire.
I swear
The
to
Fire
God.
Burns by Killswitch Engage, because a lot of people have been wanting that track back, and it's a hell of a tune.
But what else do we want back at Wembley?
I know that, but
Yeah, to be honest, I would go crazy if Brian's music hits and we get the final countdown. I mean, he's not going to wrestle. Obviously, he's got a busted arm, but just to be there would be something.
Yeah.
But I'm going to ask you both one question related to CM Punk then. Who do you want him to wrestle? Because I've been thinking about this, and I want him to wrestle Jay White. That's just me.
I mean, I want it to be Kenny Omega. That's the money match. I think it could be Ricky Starks again, but Jay White also makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Andy?
Jay White would be a good one. Wouldn't be mad if it was Christian.
Ooh. That'd be nice. That'd be a good callback as well. That'd be a very good callback. But, gents, we are fast running out of time. Simon, the floor is yours.
Okay, so I mentioned last week that as part of our channel, we appreciate each and every one of you guys watching every week, liking the channel, subscribing to the channel. Really means a lot to all three of us. We could talk for hours. I could sit here and cry explaining to you how much it means to us. It means a lot. We're going to be having a relaunch soon. And as part of that, I announced last week, we're going to have a giveaway. So, All In is at Wembley 3 weeks today on the 27th of August, if I got the date right. The day before that, at Wembley Park Arena, I think it's called, there is like a launch event. There might be meet and greets, activities. It's kind of like AEW's version of a fan fest. We have 4 tickets to it that we're giving away. So to qualify for this, you need to be able to travel to London on the 26th and 27th of July. And you need basically to love AEW and to want to go and see AEW. All we ask in return is that you like the channel, you subscribe to the channel, and I should have put my handle up for this, shouldn't I? I am wrestling with your thoughts, WYTSI on Twitter. I think most of you watching this will follow me on Twitter anyway. What you will need to do is I'm going to send a tweet out after the show. You need to like it, you need to share it, and tag the 3 people that you want to take with you. Okay? And we will be picking a name at random. And I think maybe on next week's show, we'll announce which lucky winner is getting 4 tickets to the launch party for AEW on the 26th of August.
We do have to stress they are not tickets for the All In event themselves.
Nope.
Unfortunately, we're not able to get hold of them, but they are tickets for the launch party and the event on the Saturday. It's going to be a right blast.
Yeah.
Right. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's the show. If you enjoyed what we do here at the Legion, please join the Legion. Subscribe to the channel. If you made it to the end of the video, it's got to be worth giving us a like. It really helps us out. It's free. It's the only way the algorithm knows we exist. I've been Nick the Geek. He's been Andy. He's been Si. And we'll see you next week.